What is up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, and today we are going to have some special broadcasts today. I'm actually doing this as a lead-in. I believe I've been emailing Obsidian back and forth. Maybe it'll be today, maybe it won't. I'm actually thinking it will be today that I will be doing an interview with Obsidian on Mixer, so I'm very excited about that. We've been kind of doing emails back and forth, and it's kind of impromptu. But this is a video I wanted to do for you all, and basically, get this started. This video is going to really be a lead in into that interview with Obsidian. So you all let me know if you can hear me. Press 1 if you can hear me. What's up, Pharaoh? And we're gonna I'm gonna be very focused. So here's the deal, just to do a lead off. I know a lot of y'all listen to a lot of my stuff. What's up, Archer? Pretty much, just to summarize, Obsidian BGS put up a video. Obsidian put up a video, and their videos have very similar kind of. They basically weaved around each other really well. So I wanted to really address that. And the video Obsidian actually put up was half of the video was a hangout, I guess, with King Sigma, and then Gab was on there, a couple others was on there, and it was referencing a video with Obsidian. Long story short, one of the things that I see in the manosphere is that there is there's not enough people really standing on what they say. It's too much we're talking just to have a conversation, and not really people standing on the policy that they stand with. The reason why I say policy, because if somebody would have asked me about something and I say, okay, this is the policy I stand on. Like, for example, somebody would have asked me, can you be pro-black and sleep white? I would say, my policy is yes, you can, because of this. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it. But at least you know very clearly on where I am. For example, I say you can be pro-black and sleep white because genetics is not the only thing you can pass down to the black community. A lot of people create trust. They create a lot of different things that the collective of black people that are willing to deal with it can basically achieve. Same thing with scholarships. There's a lot of ways you can give your money in such a way that certain segments of the black population or certain individual people, depending on how you want to spread it out, can help. There's a lot of things you can do. And quite frankly, I don't believe that people really have a right, especially if economically you don't owe them shit. So take Robert Smith, for example. Robert Smith does not owe black people economically. I would argue Byron Allen actually doesn't owe black people economically. So at the end of the day, what right do you have really to legislate somebody what it is for them to be a part to contribute, when in actuality, their economics is not tied to you. You have no real leverage. Now you take that with the guy that is was the owner of Shea Moisture. Well, all of his economics were tied to black women, so they definitely had leverage, and you saw them exercise it. Whether you think that was right or wrong, that was an example. So my policy is that yes, you can be pro-black and sleep white. You don't have to agree with it, but at least you understand the point, so we understand what we're talking about. Too many times we're having too many different conversations. Like I said before, when it comes to the social contract conversation, you essentially have two different conversations that people are talking about. One is can I get a woman, not necessarily black women, but a woman standpoint. Am I getting a pussy that I want in the quantities that I want? Quality and quantities. That is not the same conversation. That is a micro conversation. That is not the same conversation as the macro conversation of the social contract between black men and black women, because everybody's not going to be on the same thing. And individually, you need to understand what you're giving and what you're getting and to the leverage that you have. But that has nothing to do with what it takes to actually create a community. And so if the answer is, well, you just need to improve, my policy is a black man should improve regardless whether he's getting pussy or not. He should always be learning to grow. He should be always learning to get better, because you need to be in the strongest position. If you do have heirs, to actually put those heirs in position to win. And you also have the ability to actually increase your value. It doesn't matter if you're getting pussy or not. And I'm gonna tell you, it could sound, a lot of people will say, oh, well, of course you would say that. Here's the thing. Even if you're getting pussy, one of the biggest things that other races of men use against black men is basically neutralizing black men with vagina. A lot of black men basically never rise to what they can rise to because once they get some pussy, they stop. This is a big reason why your 92 octanes are always making a complaint that black men don't have that kind of engine to constantly improve, kind of to the level that they think they do. Because a lot of dudes, once they get some pussy, they're good and they get content and they stop. This is not all guys, but this is a lot of guys. The masters of the universe don't count because they operate within different rules, in my opinion, in the general population. So I don't even count them. I'm just talking about like, it's kind of like talking about dudes that are billionaires and above or $100 million and above versus people that are like 10 million and below. It's completely different rules in that game. It just is. Because it is. So again, there's two conversations. Conversation A is, are dudes getting pussy and are they not getting pussy? And to the extent of, are they complaining about that? And then there's conversation B is, what is it actually going to take to actually have a community? When I was over there with BGS a couple of years ago, it was never about, well, certain dudes are getting pussy and certain dudes are not getting pussy. It was all about, okay, if we're going to have a community, then the dudes that are producing, whether those are street dudes, because you can be a street dude and not a Pookie and Ray Ray, because the Pookie and Ray Ray is predicated on your ability to produce or not. Niggas on the block. So you can be a productive street dude. And dudes that are not necessarily people that are not necessarily in the street, let's say square dudes that have obviously resources and things they can bring in and expertise they can bring into the community. And what happens is people keep on muddying those conversations and they keep on blurring those conversations to create whatever narrative they want to create for whatever agenda they want to have. So if they're like, oh, and I'm not, and again, there's different degrees to people that are doing this. Some people, it's not really their fault. People, it's like, I'll give you an example. Rom, for example, is really just in his own lane doing what the fuck he does because that's what he's always done. If you like the information you like, he's here for you. If you don't have to fucking listen to him, And what happens is people take his information, and I'm not talking about Obsidian, by the way, but people will take his information and they will basically make it to what the fuck they want to make it. And then what happens is Obsidian is arguing against that as a straw man. And when I say Obsidian, I'm talking about he's arguing against dudes that take Rom's information and basically make it into whatever agenda that they want to have it be. So it becomes this bullshit argument. And then what I've seen is Rom tries to basically clarify things, and then it necessarily does not hold up because that's not exactly what was said before. And so for that reason, I'm not even gonna fucking use select, not select no more. Because to be honest with you, that's Rom stuff, and I'll leave it to him. And people just want to make it mean what the fuck they want it to mean. So they are using that as a mechanism to have overlapping conversations in order to avoid as Obsidian would say, the debate that he wants to have, which is really what it comes down to this. Obsidian has never been a community guy. This is what he says. So within the construct of what he talks about, he is, from what I understand, and I am the reason. I've been listening to Obsidian for about 3 years now. What I've to understand is Obsidian has basically said, to the extent that he is willing to engage with the black community as far as a community talking point, the biggest issue with the black community is that black men and black women don't get along. When you understand his age, there is a older school conversation that used to be had that says black men and black women only get along when they're having sex. So outside of that, for the most part, there's always a power struggle. It's just a matter of degrees. Or somebody is benefiting to the extent where they're not like that. Again, this is degrees. We're not talking about everybody, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Doesn't matter about dating. You see this in your own families. You see this in situations in areas of activity that has nothing to do with sex. You see this at work. You see this with platonic relationships at work. You see this with your family. You see this with even people of the same gender. Motherfuckers wanting to fuck other people's girls, nobody being on code, women never being able to take advice from other women because there's always a politics to this. Like, come on, man. This shit's common sense. I'm not a fucking genius. I'm just a thinker. This stuff is out here. The context is out here if you're actually willing to stop and fucking look at it. So Obsidian is saying, if you don't deal with that shit, everything else is bullshit. And I can understand why he says that. I mean, he's a union guy. If motherfuckers are not on the same page that you need a union, and I live in a right to work state, it ain't nothing to talk about. It really isn't. And it's the same thing there. All the other stuff is not going to happen if that doesn't happen. And when I say, I mean there has to be a social contract that Black people understand and that they, to a certain extent, agree to. Now, obviously, that's going to be different depending on the individual as far as the degrees to it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it has to be that way. Also, his argument, which is his real argument, is basically saying that Black women for years, decades now, have basically made the argument that the reason why they don't have what they feel like they should have is because niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit in the form of on the down low. Niggas ain't shit on the low of the fucking color purple, which is really a metaphor for what it was like during Jim Crow, which is because Black women could not do what the fuck they wanted to do because the white boys would take care of them. They basically try to remember that and mythologize that in a way that just said Black men are oppressed them, which is really not true. It's never been true. It's not true. It's not true. Not to the extent they like to say. And quite frankly, I hear too many dudes that even validate that argument. You know, when they say, the reason why Black women do what they do is because ultimately this is what we used to do back in the day. Nigga, fuck you. You may have did that shit. And that's the problem. You got a lot of loose dick niggas that they got guilt because they got daughters and they know karma's about to come for that ass. And so now they want to legislate to other dudes to not be who they were, who they still are. Because you never get rid of that shit. And I'm not hating on you. I think every Black man should have a little bit of fuckboyism in them, especially when you're dealing with sisters. You can't deal with sisters and not have a little bit of fuckboyism. And I'm going to tell you something. Alpha Male Strategies was fucking right. Like, he was right. I'm sorry. And now that's what a lot of dudes are kind of coming back to. I still think you should be on an honor code to a certain extent, but there's a thing that I like to call ruthless honor, where you can be ruthless because you understand you're coming from the standpoint of a good place. So my point is, because I want to be very focused and be very crisp, because a lot of people think when I have a stream of consciousness, a lot of times, and it's not even a stream of consciousness, that's what people call it. You know, it's like me just free flowing. And I've never really said, okay, we're about to hone this in. So now you see when I'm actually present. That's not me being present, really. I'm just really just talking out my head, and whatever comes out, comes out. And I'm pretty focused with that. This is me being present now. So at the end of the day, what it comes down to is those are the two conversations. Conversation one, your individual dating ability, and are you happy with that? And of obviously, if you're not happy with that, you should, build yourself up to put yourself in the best position. Why wouldn't you? But that's not the conversation people are having. And even the conversation I'm having, and I've always had, is the conversation of the social contract. And to a certain extent, that is the conversation Obsidian is having. He's basically saying the reason why Black women's outcomes are piss poor is because of their choices, not because of what society did, not because of anything else. Yeah, we could argue how you were raised or whatever formed you, but at the end of the day, just like a man, if you a lame, nobody gives a fuck about why you a lame. Stop being a lame. Develop social skills, learn. That's how we approach Black men. And I'm not saying that's necessarily incorrect, but the point is the way we approach women is society failed them. For a man, you failed. For a woman, society failed you. And it's that socialism bullshit. This is actually why he always comes back to political and values and the Democratic versus Republican Party. This is why he comes back to that. I mean, I get the nuance. Like, it's all about nuance. I mean, I get these people, just like I got cut to the chase of what he was talking about. You know, he basically leveraged his value to say, look, I'm the prize. You make me an offer to have me come off the field because I like you. You pass all the a lot of the check boxes I want. But at the same time, I don't need to come off the field. There's a couple of people like you I could do. What are you going to do? It was that simple, but people didn't get that. So, yeah, I actually said a lot relatively quickly. So with that being said, what we're going to go down is the list of what I call a list of the different pills. Kind of like, you know what? I wish I had I should make the damn thumbnail like the Infinity Stones, because it's a lot like the Infinity Stones. But we're going to go through a list of pills, and I actually got a couple of quick notes for you. But that's just a good precursor to that interview. So first of all, we're going to go through the blue pill. Blue pill people are kind of like traditionalists. When I say traditionalists, they are operating from what they always have known to be the case, and they've never questioned it. So because that's within their own field of vision, they've never questioned it. And what you have is a lot of blue pill people on, and this is not going to be all negative. This is going to actually be two sides to everything. So it's going to be a positive and negative. Like, for instance, positive, let's say guys have been married for like a long time, like let's say north of 15 years, maybe 20 years. They got married. The game changes every 5 years. That's what Glenn and Cameron said. And that makes sense. Every 5 years, the game changes. So as the game, so if you've been married 15 years, you've been married 3 cycles ago. So the situation by which you got married is not going to be the same by the situation that, you know, people are dealing with now. This is one of the advantages of coming out of the fucking single life, because you come out of that and you're not dealing with this bullshit race war shit all the time. This actually explains why Gab sometimes has a hard time really interpreting a lot of, when I say interpret, I mean understanding the kinetic impact by which what people are saying, because it's kind of like somebody that hasn't been in war talking to somebody that's done 3 or 4 tours. You did your tour, you got out, and then somebody, so it's kind of, it may sound like post-traumatic stress or something like that, but it just has a different urgency to it because he's been in a good situation. And this is not dudes that are necessarily married. There's a couple of dudes like this, and shout out for you. That's cool. That's good. That's an example of maybe why you should check out if you find the right woman, if you determine that to be the right woman. So that's the positive end of it. You know, these guys are going to really look at the situation from what they know and from what they checked out on. Why I say that this way is because I want you to understand that these people don't necessarily have malicious intent. I don't want to say they're ignorant, but they're not really dealing necessarily in the game as the game is. It just is what it is. It's no different than somebody that grew up in the suburbs being ignorant to street culture. It's not that they're ignorant because they're stupid. It's because this is something they are not in. And that just is what it is. So I get it. Now you have the other side to that, which is, you know, people that kind of know what it is, but they believe that it's better to lie because telling the truth would mean that dudes are going to do what's in their best interest. And that's not going to be in the best interest of their overall objectives, which is if your overall objective is black love and you kind of understand you're not going to really change the women, then only thing you can do is lie to the dudes, which makes you a traitor. But that is what you're doing. But that's what they believe. So, for instance, when you look at these new age pro blacks, which are basically former D boys, and these niggas picked up a fucking, book, and now all of a sudden they think they want to use their street credibility, the shit they did in the streets to try to legislate the motherfuckers that have always, for the most part, been thinking a certain type of way, always been kind of looking at, being an asset and not a liability to different degrees. And they could tell them what, and the only thing they want to say, the bitches follow me. And I'm going to keep it real with you. My answer to that shit is, nigga, I will tip my hat to you if you can make these bitches act right. But the niggas that want to act like that can't make these bitches act right. They don't understand that they're no different than Sidious and Darth Vader. They're like Dooku and Sidious. They may think they all that, they OGs or whatever, but at the end of the day, you getting ran. And it's only until your head's about to get fucking cut off by another nigga that you actually realize that you got fucked. And you see this come through the Hotep community, which is a fucking matriarchy. The church now, which is a fucking matriarchy. The Hotep community is a gynocracy versus the church might be at least a matriarchy. You see this in these new age pro blacks, and not necessarily Hotep, but these are niggas that want to say they pro black because they got street cred and what the fuck ever. You also have your what I call sperm donor niggas that are pre-qualified. Understand, this is a new things I'm gonna introduce into the lexicon. Pre-qualified and not pre-qualified. What is pre-qualified? Pre-qualified is when a chick will fuck you on site. Meaning she could look at you and she has that mind, I will fuck that nigga on site as long as he don't say no stupid shit. That's what pre-qualified is. And that depends on the woman. Obviously, there's patterns to that, depending on the group of women you are and what they value. It is what it is. Give you an example outside of the current shit we're dealing with. Light-skinned dudes used to be pre-qualified in the 80s. Same. Now, next generation of females, dark skin, because it's the promotion. It is what it is, but it is what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to do with you. You could be the same nigga. Drake would have killed it in the goddamn 80s. But it is what it is today. Y'all give me a moment. Sorry, man, I gotta eat some of this food. But would you tell a dark skinned nigga this on point? Sorry, dude, you gotta improve because these women won't light skinned niggas. No, it's the same thing. So now, so you got these sperm donor ass niggas that are pre-qualified, and these dudes are like fucking dating drug. These dudes are like dating drug dealers. They're polluting this. They're taking advantage of the system because the system benefits them. Now on some real shit, I really don't give a fuck because my policy is women can choose whatever the fuck they want to choose. So can men. You just need to own your shit. That's my policy on that. And I mean that. I don't say that where I'm just saying that to be saying that. I really don't give a fuck who black women choose. But don't sit there and fucking come with a surviving story. I survived the fuckboyism and it's not my fault. No, you wanted that. It's no different than somebody shooting up fucking heroin. Don't get mad that your teeth is falling out because you did crystal meth or something. You chose that shit. I'm on that Breaking Bad shit. You know, own your shit. And I got infinite more respect for women that actually own their shit than women that try to do the K Michelle bullshit. Like, just seriously, own your shit. I'm not necessarily going to beat you up, but own it. Now, if you're not going to own it, then we're going to have a problem because now you're trying to basically hold me accountable for what somebody else did and somebody else accountable. It doesn't matter if you're select or not select. Again, pre-qualified is fuck on site. Not pre-qualified means you're going to have other attributes in order to get within that alignment to make you, who you are more valuable than her pussy. It's really that simple. So coming back to it, we could break this down. Shout out to Marcus A. Brown. He had one of the things called the 10 send-off missions, and the sperm donor model ass nigga shit was what he was talking about. That's real ass shit. Y'all should read another book niggas ain't gonna read because that's real good. Next thing we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to dating to a purple pill. Most black men are purple pill. Most black men understand that the black community operates differently than other communities. So to a certain extent, they have awareness. So most of your dating coaches are purple pill because obviously you have to be able to operate outside of what's going on in order to be able to coach somebody as to it. Most dating coaches are purple pill. Most dudes that have successfully adapted to dating in today's social game rules. I would say Cut to the Chase is a good example of that. When he talks about understanding he's a prize and being able to successfully leverage that on women to create the outcomes he wants. That's kind of like that's a purple pill thing. Red pill, it can be purple or red pill. And I'm not going to go too deep into these. Red pill is basically, we're going to go through the ideologies. We know what red pill is. You know, red pill is pretty much understanding, is having pretty much near absolute awareness of what the situation is, good, bad, or ugly, and no longer subject to the programming that a lot of people have people going on autopilot. Pretty much, it's like you're a sheep and maybe you're the one sheep that realizes we about to die and nobody else realizes that. That's red pill. So let's go through them. You know, you've got, we're going to go, this is not in particular order. You've got SYSBM, Save Yourself Black Men. Contrary to popular belief, SYSBM does not mean get away from black women. It just means choose the best woman. It basically means to be unapologetic about what the fuck you want. Meaning, if black you and it really comes down to something that I always tell people is fuck with who fucks with you. If black women fuck with you and you like black women, you fuck with black women. If Latin women fuck with you and black women don't worry about it. And it comes back to a big thing that a lot of people don't understand is where niggas are talking about niggas need to improve. The reality is a lot of what's going on in the black community is a lot of black men are just not fucking compatible with the culture of how these women are. They're not compatible with it because dudes are not sitting there trying to dumb themselves down. Dudes are not sitting there trying to be thugs. Dudes are not sitting here. Everybody sitting here trying to get tatted up. Everybody is not trying to fit the norm of what a bitch sees on TV or in hip hop. Everybody ain't trying to get dreads. Everybody ain't trying to get a beard. People are going to be who they are. And it does not mean you don't improve. It just means they're not going to change who they are to fit a norm. A lot of this shit you don't need to improve. If you're willing to act a certain way and get taxed, you can actually deal with it. Now, people will say, well, that's just certain women. Nah, black women operate in a hive. So even though, yes, black women date different women, but overall, when you look at it from a 70 percentile, they're all operating on the same shit to levels of degrees. This is why when you had Hot Girl Summer, you had last year, Buddy D, you had women that didn't even operate in that paradigm. fucking doing that, coming out of the woodwork, because they operate in the hive. You know, this is why you have words talk about sophistic, ratchet, clatchet, all of that, because they all want to be that. They all want to merge. And like I said, it's different degrees, but you see it. So SYSBM is basically like, you are not accountable to this community because this community doesn't belong to you. Igmore is an offset of MGTOW. Igmore is basically a black version of MGTOW. You should not, my opinion, if you're a MGTOW, you should be Igmore. If you're a black MGTOW, you should be Igmore. That's what I mean. Igmore stands for Introspective Black Men of Reform. Igmore has tenets. Igmore, it's basically MGTOW but for black people, meaning you still fucking, you know, but you actually understand the nature of how the fucking succubus relationship that the woman has from the man, because it's in a situation that they are. This is why they always use the term succubi. Shout out to BGS Igmore. Shout out to Black Ram. Shout out to the Thinking Man's Templar. There's others, but those are the main. In fact, there's another dude that has 30,000 subscribers, and I forget about him. And basically, it's just a more formal version of Igmore. It's really not that many. The main difference between Igmore and SYSBM is Igmore operates a little bit more on a brotherhood standpoint versus SYSBM is more individualistic centered. That's the biggest difference. Other than that, it's pretty much the same shit. Black MGTOWs is MGTOWs for black people. They pretty much operate completely on MGTOW philosophy. There's levels to being a MGTOW, so it's not all four. It's not all, oh, you're going your own way. It's actually not that much different than SYSBM Igmore, which is why I say you should be Igmore anyway. Red pill dating, that's more representative of people like Solo D84 and Donovan Sharp. I would also, even though Jada Black doesn't talk about dating, I might say Jada Black's more SYSBM, but he's a combination. But they talk about still dating, but from a red pill awareness standpoint. I would say it's a little bit deeper than just being purple pill, because they definitely focus on that lead. I'd say Donovan Sharp represents that a little bit more than Solo, but Solo does too. Black pill. Okay, I'm not gonna act like I know a lot about. I will refer to you to BGS, defer to you. BGS is his content on it. I will say that pimps are black pill in my opinion, and I would say level 4 MGTOWs are black pill in my opinion. So that's pretty much that. You know, I'm gonna read what y'all saying in the chat, and I'm about to fucking eat. So if y'all see me cutting in, cutting out, you know, it is what it is. Give me a second. I'll put the StreamYard thing in the chat because I do want to eat, so I don't give somebody a chance to come in. I may cut this off abruptly because, like I said, I'm just waiting for him to email me back. My bad. I know motherfuckers like, this nigga really eating. Solo a big dude, man. I didn't know Solo was that big, man. Y'all be listening to his voice, be like, don't get that motherfucker twisted, man. Maybe that's me because I'm short. Also, what I'll say is a lot of guys, this is another thing. a lot of these dudes are projecting because they feel like that you're using the social, the community aspect as a battering ram to basically just beat up females. And the reality is just you ain't getting pussy. These dudes won't outright say that shit, but that's what the fuck is going on. And I know that's what the fuck is going on. But they won't outright say that shit. And that shit kills me. That's why I say to deal with the what's up, Black Avenger, to deal with the you ain't get pussy argument. I'm like, okay, dude, then if we're just having conversations, let's just talk about if you just let's just talk about people that got kids. That way we know they fucking. You can't say they not fucking. So now, and then what would be the problems? And we know it would be. Anyway, what's up, Silent? Hello? Hello, Silent.
Yo, give me a second, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yo, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm fucking with my audio, bro.
I know how it is. So you in Minnesota, Archer? Shit, you about to prepare for that cold shit. Black Pill Black Pill talked about Joker, in which I'm gonna see that movie, see what it's about. Yeah, he's having audio issues. He'll be back. All right, let me go through y'all shit. What's up, Marcus? It is the same shit, doggy dog. When they say white people need to get, it's disingenuous. Doggy Dog says, isn't this the same as when white people say get black people need to go at a past move? Shouldn't black community be focused on contributing to the American community? Yeah, that shit benefits them. These are motherfuckers that went to Civil War. So white people, if they don't like what's going on, then they gonna blow the bitch up. I'm looking at fucking American Horror Story, the cult version, which deals with the election, and this shit funny as fuck. Anyway, what's up?
Yo, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
There it is. Hey, I ain't gonna be on here too long, man, but I've been listening. Good stream, bro. You handling your business, bro. By the way. But I wanted to kind of address one of the things. I was listening to Obsidian's joint, his little response to C Boogie, right? And one of the things I noticed, man, when these conversations happen on the side of the Lane brothers or whatever, people want to talk about the extremes, right? So when he talks about like when brothers get older or whatever, he want to equate it to the 55-year-old, 65-year-old as the older dude, as opposed to the dude that's 35, 40. That's one, I think.
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of, they've been disingenuous about, right? So he talked about.
You talk about Obsidian?
No, I'm talking about C Boogie when he was talking about.
Okay.
Basically, like when men hit the wall, right? And then he relates men hitting the wall to dudes that are 50 and 60 and shit, instead of talking about the dudes that are 35 and 40, which is really, I think, what the conversation is focused on. That kind of age.
First of all, men never hit the fucking wall. Not really. I mean, men hit the wall when they get broke, and right. You got to be old and broke. Dudes will always, cause they always find some lonely bitch somewhere. That's what them dudes don't talk about. But go ahead.
And a good example of that is who was the old ass dude they used to have selling the beer? You know, the most interested man, right? That's a good example of that, right? But also, I think what dudes don't talk about, what these conversations don't revolve around is when these conversations are happening, like we always explain the dudes are like these spineless, basement dwelling, loser ass dudes, basically, who can't get no pussy because they have no spine, which describes absolutely not many dudes I've ever fucking met, especially brothers, right? So everybody jumps
Thank
from one
you.
extreme to the next, right? What the reality is, here's why people are upset, because what you really have are really majority of viable guys who are in decent shape. They may not be Adonises or whatever, but they're just normal, regular dudes who have fucking friends who go out and drink beer. They're not these loser, insecure dudes who ain't got zero game or scared to talk to women. That's how it gets described. What's happening is you have a lot of guys who are just normal guys who, by any standards, would be good catchers. You know what I mean? But they get described as these whiny losers living in their mom's basement. I think that part is the most disingenuous part of these conversations. I'm just like, I ain't never met these cats.
Yeah. Like they ain't even Urkel type nigga. I ain't even met a true. Well, I've met a couple dudes that could fit that script. Even then, they don't sound like Urkel. Like yeah. So here's the thing, man. And you notice that that's what black women do when black women go to the extremes. I mean, I'm like, are we having a real conversation? Who the fuck are you talking about? And this lets you know what a lot of these dudes think about their own brothers. This is what, and that's why I always say black men look at other black men through the eyes of black women, and black women look at black men through the eyes of white men. And there you go. And that's born out of what the fuck they say, because they always default to that. Because I'm like, who are these niggas that you talk? Like, produce these niggas. Like, really produce these niggas. Because black men, at the end of the day, can fuck fat bitches. Because that's what a lot of them do, unfortunately. So this idea that there's dudes that are like, you know, yeah, you got your Madden Kings, but a lot of your Madden Kings are getting pussy too. So what are you talking? And again, like, it gets to the point where even if that's true, what the fuck does that have to do with actually having a competitive community? Because my thing is, are you talking about? Okay, well, these niggas are only talking shit because, you know, they're not getting pussy. So does that completely make it not true that the community is fucked up? And the truth is, these dudes don't care. They don't care. The dudes like, and I'm not trying to put people's names in my mouth, but see, Boogie don't give a fuck about the community. Like, and I'm not saying that to say he's a bad guy. Everybody doesn't have to. Everybody needs to worry about themselves first. But
it's just hustling, man. That's all. It's just a hustling, man.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, you need your mercenaries. You do.
What is?
Yeah, but like, don't get into the conversation that I'm having about the social contract, and then the only thing you're going to contribute is basically you just need to improve. So basically, what you're saying is every black man need to be a fucking suit. In order for the black community to be viable, every black man needs to be a superhero. Now, the first thing I'm going to say to that is I'm going to say, okay, because my answer is black men need to affect the thing they can affect, which is the supply and demand aspect, by basically doing what they need to do to get the fuck what they want one way or the other, whether that's intercultural dating or interracial dating and supplementation. Because if they really ain't shit, then they shouldn't be able to get no bitch nowhere. If that's what you're saying is true. And I'll be the first one to say, okay, does all women respond to you the same way? If they say yes, then clearly the troubleshooting is it's you. Clearly. I'm not going to say, okay, well, it ain't you. I'm not going to then say, okay, well, now it's American women. No, not necessarily going to say that. That's clearly an indicator of something. But a lot of dudes keep on wanting to keep the conversation on a you just mad because you ain't getting pussy argument. And this is not just Boogie. When you look at a lot of your dating coaches, that's the argument they have. But if you notice, and to be fair to see Boogie,
they're trying to sell you how to get pussy books or whatever. So of course they got to convince you that you ain't shit in order to sell you the fix, but not.
That's how black men sell to each other, and that shit doesn't work. To be fair to see Boogie, though, I have heard him say that he has no problem with black men date now. But the issue with that is when we get into this conversation as a collective group, it is always assumed that we're talking about dating black women. It's never assumed that black men are complaining about all women. It's never assumed that. No matter, like, think about all the panels that you've had where the topic was not directly about interracial dating. Isn't it assumed that black men, if they're talking about women, they're talking about black women? Or am I misunderstanding that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because we're black people, and most black people, what's up, Roger, deal with black women. So if we're talking about our experiences with women, we're mainly talking about black women. So to the extent, so my thing is, if you're a dating coach or you're somebody that's going to advocate for that, then quite frankly, you should take race out of it. Race shouldn't matter. To Glendon Cameron's credit, Glendon Cameron says, and now if you want to date a certain particular type of female, then yeah, there's going to be certain things you need to get that particular type of female. But overall, if you're just dealing with, okay, I'm dating, then you should take race out of it with the exception of what your preferences is. But, and this is how I know they're kind of enter into a pro-black argument, because when we have these conversations, whether it's George or whoever, it's always, okay, well, the genetics are pro-black.
Dudes are just full of shit because they're not having an honest conversation. That's what female, when somebody says, so what you're saying is, and then they completely bastardize everything you just said. Anytime somebody says, so what you're saying is, they're going to basically bastardize everything you just said in order to have an agenda to argue with. They recreate the argument, take out of context.
They try to rewrite history on your ass immediately. And that's,
no, I didn't say that. That ain't shit what I said. Right? Here's the real conversation.
Hold on, Roger. Let Silence say what he's going to say, then you can jump in.
Go ahead, because I was getting a bad connection. Go ahead, I'm my bad.
No doubt. Here's a real conversation for what I see it in the real world. The problem ain't dudes having problem getting pussy. The problem is you have regular guys doing what they need to do as men with women who live in a dating Wild West environment where the women just fucking wild out, fuck these guys over. They're not fucking deficient. You know what I mean? They're just taking care of business, and dudes are getting fucked over because the environment allows these females to act out of pocket, right? Or, a dude might be, I talk to married dudes, or a dude might be dating this chick for 3 or 4 years. He investing in her, thinking, he got a future. And then, he finds out, she fucking somebody else, and she does it in the worst possible fucking way. And then it's completely disrespectful to him. And then at the end of the day, he still ain't shit. That's what guys are fucking, like, there's no fucking loyalty at all in this.
There's no loyalty even among black men. And another thing I would say too, just to keep it all the way 100, when people talk about the improved things, I'm all about improvement. Shout out to the Improvement Pill. Shout out to Refuse to Settle. These are YouTube channels. Shout out to Charisma on Command. These niggas always talk about improvement and you a lame, but they never talk about social skills. Because they're not really, they're using, these are reactionary conversations, but
man, they're sucking their own dick, bro. What they're saying is, be more like me. They're positioning themselves as the alpha, which a lot of these dudes are lying on their dick anyway. But they're basically saying, I'm the alpha, and if you were more like me, you wouldn't get played. Here's a whole video of how you could be like me. It's a self.
Yeah. So what I would say is, number one is the community are the kids that are being born out of like situations that actually validate the motherfuckers. I'm not talking about choosing the two things. How you know that's bullshit. Number one, is the community actually reflexive of motherfuckers that are actually quote unquote self-improved dudes? Like, is that really where the kids are coming out of? That's number one. Number two,
just fucking is then she gets pregnant. And, a lot of cases, the pregnancy is, kind of the hustle, if you will, right? But these kids ain't being born out of, how many black children do you think are born out of actually being planned? Motherfuckers are just
And another thing to say is, if that was also true, that these women wouldn't be going into what I call the certified pre-owned market by going when dudes become self-actualized. Let's say they weren't all that in their 20s, but they got self-actualized when they were in their 30s because their combination of income and physicality and stuff came together. And then now these women are coming back in bargain basement. These women should already be off the market by then because they should already have found the dudes that they initially chose. This is where you look at women like Kate.
This is the buy here, pay here market.
Yeah.
Well, you get what I'm saying is that's how they try to do it. But no, the reason why I say that is because that's funny. But the reason why I say it's certified pre-owned because that's from the female's perspective. They know they can't get a brand new car off the lot, but they're trying to they try to get a certified pre-owned. I mean, no. A certified pre-owned is basically for people that kind of can afford a brand new car off the lot. They just are a little bit more conscious about what they buy. That's what that's for. That's not for people saying, I still want to get a car. That's going down. It's not for people coming up to try to say, ooh, I don't want to do the buy here, pay here bullshit. I want to get a certified pre-owned because I haven't really come to terms with where my sexual marketplace value has gotten. So when you look at stuff like credit reports and you look at having judgments or having, write-offs, that's like having kids or basically you letting yourself go. And these women don't never really look at that because they think, they don't really they really have never been really taught about the wall, which completely fucks them up. So anyway, I'm gonna let y'all talk because I'm waiting for this email from him, so I don't know how long this is gonna be. So I'm gonna let y'all talk. So anyway, Roger, go ahead, and I'm gonna let Arthur go ahead. So any thoughts of what you want to add? Thoughts about what I've said?
Well, yes, and I honestly agree with what Silent has been saying because that's what I've also been saying about when these guys show up. And shout out to Blackheart. I was having a conversation with him on the side through a Telegram, and he was basically saying something. I misunderstood him, but I think a good name for these certain dudes that we're talking about would be like a lamb dingo, because they basically got nothing real going on in their life. So they actually do value themselves based off how much pussy they can get. Now, my thing is that as a man, if your value comes down to how much pussy you can get, that tells me you're a low value man. Because at the end of the day, unless you're an actual pimp, meaning you have women on the stroll bringing in money for you, who cares how much pussy you can get? At the end of the day, pussy don't pay bills until you send it out on the stroll. So that's just a reality of the situation. A lot of people don't like to look at this. Is really these conversations are coming out of fear. Women fear losing the ability to rebound with a good man, and the men that ain't really doing much with themselves, they fear losing the pussy because they basically trying to prop themselves up to be alphas, but they're not alphas because they don't have the respect of other men. There's been no time in history where an alpha male did not get respect from other men. Period. That time has never existed. It's going to exist.
And if you base that on women anyway, you're a fucking beta. And the reality is, people got this alpha beta shit. But that's another thing they do.
Well, that's the gynocracy. That's the gynocratic version of what alpha beta is. But go ahead.
That's basically like saying that every other wolf in the pack is a bunch of bitches except the alpha. Now, come on. I mean, the truth is the majority of men are beta men. There's a small percentage actual alpha fucking men that exist. But beta don't make you no bitch. Beta don't make you insecure. That's not even what that shit means, man.
Well, it's kind of like, one thing I just want to add this. Another thing a lot of people don't understand, this is how you know black men operate from a gynocratic mindset, and it's important that we understand that. And so we can operate out of that for ourselves. Is if you look at it on the football, field, but let's basketball. Like I'm talking about X's and O's. When you look at I'm not talking about like you got guards, you got forwards, and you got center. And then sometimes traditionally the offense has been ran through a lot of times the center. Nowadays it's more forwards and then guards. But the point is you got the point where everybody has a role. And that even if you are the leader on that team, you still got to fulfill that role. It's just like, as a man, you can be a brother, a father, an uncle. You're defined by many different roles, and there's levels to whatever role you can be in. The problem with alpha and beta in the black community is it's completely defined from the female's perspective. It's basically defined by what makes that bitch's pussy wet. And what a lot of people don't understand is a woman, if you understand the imprint, you understand that stuff, you can manipulate that. That is not magic. If you put a black woman around nothing but white men, they are generally going to be attracted to white men if that's their environment. BGS says that your environment dictates what you like. It's not I always knew I was different and then I found a black man and I just knew. No, you're dictated. Humans adapt to whatever environment they're in, especially if they grow up in that environment. This is why people are saying products of the environment. So a lot of people get that twisted. And that's why when women talk about you like what you like, that's actually not true. You are imprinted to like certain things. And again, you got men basically following females because they're following the vagina. And this is why, even though dudes try to say you're the prize, a lot of dudes don't believe that. Not really. They still they don't. Because if you really believe that, you shouldn't need to be validated by vagina to believe that. I'm gonna tell you something. All other men, groups of men, do not validate themselves first by the pussy they get. Because that's not reflective of the dudes that you see that's really running shit. They validate themselves. And the mafia, look at the mafia. The mafia did not validate themselves based on the bitches they were fucking. You were either an earner or you were a killer. Pick one. Pick a lane. But it wasn't, oh, he fucking a whole bunch of bitches, so I might need to listen to what the fuck he got to say. That shit didn't mean shit. You know, that just came along with the territory. Anyway, y'all go ahead. I think Roger was...
Even if you look at movies, black people idolize like Scarface. How did he say it? First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the pussy. And the black community, we have it backwards. First, the way we view it, first you get the pussy, and with the pussy comes the power. I mean, the money just, probably never shows up.
Well, this is why black men get neutralized all the time, too. This is why black men, like other races, know that if you want to neutralize a Negro that can beat you in every other way, you use pussy to do it, and it works every time. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to go back to something y'all were talking about earlier when y'all talking about how they keep making it about whether or not the men are getting pussy. Now, when guys do this, they don't know they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're using a female's argument to shoot themselves in the foot. That's a female's argument that any complaint you have about black women must mean you're not getting pussy. It's like the fat chick saying just because you don't want to fuck her, you must be gay. So you can tell which niggas are matriarchal-minded niggas, matriarchal minions by the rhetoric they're using. And if you put it on paper and you can't tell if a man or a woman said it, you take the voice behind it, just put what they said on paper, you would know that these niggas are not thinking like men, they're thinking like women. And when we go back to whether or not just having pussy makes you a powerful, a lot of men who are fans like George or the fucking Mr. Goofy, Taz, these niggas have baby mothers. They talk as if they're alphas who never had any problems with women, but if they never had any problems with women, why aren't they with their first baby mom?
Well, this is what I'll say, because the thing about it is, I'm not even trying to make this about specific people, because even like before certain people, there was Angel Ramirez, there was Ramiri Brown. I mean, this stuff goes in cycles. That's what people don't understand. And see, what a lot of times, and I get you're making a point, that's why you bring up the names, but a lot of times people will latch on to the personalities behind something and not really pay it. Like, it's like running for president. You latch on to personalities, but don't look at the cycle. You don't look at like the patterns that keep happening over and over and over, and they may manifest in different ways because people are paying attention to, and I'm talking about more the audience, the personality, because you see that a lot. So as far as who you talk about, like for instance, to me, George is not having the same argument as like C Boogie. Those are two different lanes. That's why I did the pill breakdown. George's argument is that I know it's fucked up, but you need to do your duty as a black man to preserve the race. My argument to that is if the community does not belong to you, then it would be smarter to just redirect your energy into creating another community, whether it's your own family or you group together with dudes that are like-minded, that you do have control over, and therefore is willing to be responsible for, that you hoping and praying that these females will come along. Because that's George's argument, and that's why BGS did that video talking about it's better to actually just tell black men the truth. Because George won't actually come out and say that like that. He'll sit there and say you weak, you're homosexual or whatever, because he thinks that what you're saying is against black women. Which I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that. So no matter how you slice it and dice it, the social contract, it doesn't work. And if it did work, this is not us talking and these females are just riding into the sunset and they're fucking happy with the decision, and we're just on this people on the sideline bitching and crying. That's not what's going on. Because if that was the case, nobody would listen to Obsidian. As far as females, they know the and yeah, Obsidian, we are going live tonight, so y'all need to be ready for that, because I'm gonna give y'all a link. It'll be on Mixer, so I'll put the link in there for y'all to continue it on to there. But the point is, these women have forever been going back, because before the bargain basement shit, it was a stepdaddy thing. They're constantly getting redo. Because at the end of the day, they know going in that they're doing something that's not sustainable. And my thing is, that's fine. But then don't get sad and get like you've been done wrong when dudes move the fuck on. And don't get mad at dudes that tell dudes they need to love themselves and move the fuck on. Anyway, yeah.
Well, this is my thing, because I'm a slightly older person and I just kind of got into the internet culture. Started maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago, and hearing the things that go on. There's just a lot of dumb stuff being said, and I know people don't want to disparage other people, and I'm not going to put anyone's name on it, but there's a lot of dumb things being said, because if you look in reality, alphas have always worked with other alphas. And if you only look at it from a scale of only alpha and beta, as a man, you're supposed to know when to step up and be the alpha based on your situation and when to be the beta. Every man that's smart knows how to listen to other men to learn more. That has always been what has worked in communities. The social contract is not really off. The issue is you have a lot of women that don't qualify for a social contract. Now, the main argument has been basically, I see men trying to say I'm the baddest man in the room, so that's why I'm getting the chicks. No, if you really truly look at what is select in the black community, because there is so much dysfunction in the black community, and a lot of people have not been in my situation, and I'm not saying this to say I'm better than somebody else. I'm just saying this as a reality. I grew up with a father. My father grew up with a father. His father grew up with a father. My mom grew up with a father. Her father had a father. There's been so much manhood passed down through different generations. So I see things totally different than a lot of other people see it. When I look at the main things that are going on in the black community when it comes to women, you have women that are fat, you got women that are in debt, you have women that are baby mamas, and you have women with bad attitudes. As a man, you don't qualify for the social contract. As a man, I'm willing to take care of a woman. I'm not going to take care of a fat woman. I'm not going to take care of a woman with a bad attitude. I'm not going to take care of a baby mama unless, and I would say unless, because the stepdads do have
exceptions for everything, man. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but the woman would have to be exceptional. To take on that exception, she has to be exceptional.
Yo, let me cut you off right quick, because I want to ask something you just said. You said they say they're the baddest man in the room because they get pussy. Or what did you say? How did you phrase that?
Well, the thing is, people want to come off as the baddest man in the room, but see, when you base it off pussy, it's not based off a manhood situation. Everything I've been taught about manhood has been about character and your accomplishments.
Well,
it ain't never been about pussy.
This is the thing right here. Like, they might think of themselves as the baddest man in the room because they're getting the most pussy in the black community, but in reality, they're the man with the lowest standards in the room. That's the truth.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
These motherfuckers are telling the truth about that, number one, because a lot of times, a lot of these motherfuckers, if you actually break them down, they either married white women, they fucking white women, they not fucking black women like that. So we don't have enough honesty because these dudes don't want to get labeled anti-pro-black, or they want to get ISO in a conversation is known as the dude that don't fuck black women.
Jap said something. Jap said something about a couple of weeks ago that had me dying. I had to think about it, and it was totally true. He said fucking a black woman nowadays is damn near gay.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, he was in his car. Jap was going in. And the thing about Jap is nobody questions if Jap needs pussy. Nobody questions it. I'm not saying you should. So if Jap is saying that, Jap says some of the most, he goes harder in the paint than anybody, including Obsidian, and nobody questions if Jap can fuck a black woman. He's shown his receipts over and over and over again.
But they don't want
else to fight people.
They don't want to make the argument about people like Jap or Angry Men or BGS. They don't want to make their argument against the manosphere against men like that. They want to make it against men like Obsidian.
Well, yeah, because it's about narratives. Like
the smartest, or actually about who they think, or actually correction, or more about who they what they think. Their projection of Obsidian.
They project Obsidian onto all of us. When most of us are more like an Angry Man, more like a Jap. Niggas that's getting pussy but realize like, yo, what the fuck is going on with these bitches? That's what we're more over here talking about. And they don't
and even Jap is out here saying, I see why dudes go interracial. Like, the reality is, again, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what folks say, because this is what BGS said And he was right. He said, fertile ground is fertile ground. This shit didn't come out of this shit doesn't come out of nowhere. This isn't some shit that people said, okay, I want to make some money, so I'm gonna make some shit up. No, this shit is born out of a real concern, and the environment is doing nothing but accelerating that. So it doesn't matter what people say. Like, the thing is, people can listen to what they want to hear all the way till the house burns down. That's their choice. Is this like fucking Noah's Ark? Okay, you can say you said Noah's crazy all the way till it started raining, and then it didn't stop. Then they wanted all of a sudden to be saved, and that's how black people are. But even when it comes to defining who's alpha, who's beta, all that bullshit to me is an irrelevant fucking argument. Because this idea, because alphas, number one, betas get pussy. So this argument that like only alphas get pussy and the dude, that's not even born. Even BGS said that. That's not even born out of who's actually having kids. Because at the end of the day, all these females, only thing they got is a woman. You take that, dude, if you actually break it down to women, just in general, regardless of race, you look at women that actually are. This is why do you think women are getting all of these fucking physical enhancements? Because they feel like they're subpar. So they know what it is, and most of them. So at the end of the day, because I just want to let y'all know, I will be on.
They are subpar.
Yeah. See, this is the thing.
Hold on. I just want to let y'all know I will. Obsidian. Hold on. Obsidian is setting up the mixer now, so y'all, when I put in that link, I will be on there. So just keep that in mind. Go ahead, Roger.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is they realize they're subpar, but the thing is, being subpar is a choice. Now, I know a lot of people not going to have my certain belief systems. I actually do believe there is a God. I believe he created all of us. I don't think he ever made a loser. Being a loser is a choice, regardless of who you are as a person. Being a loser is a choice. So you have a bunch of women that's of America. Because whether we like to admit it or not, our women will basically mess with any non-black dude at any level. And being select in the black community doesn't really mean anything because you're talking about being select of the worst group of women. Now, if you talk about real life, if you want to say a person is select, super selection of a couple things. One is being very tall. Very tall meaning you're not just 6 feet, but they really like a guy that's about 6'5" or over. Most guys are never going to see 6'5". Now, the other thing is you're rich, and I'm talking about multi-millionaire status. Most men will never be a multi-millionaire. Now, because black women don't necessarily like power the way other races do, black women like power they can manipulate. So what makes you, quote unquote, select in the black community is the ease of control. If women feel that on a more regular basis because they want a dominant male. And I'm just simply meaning dominant as a person. A male that has had trouble with the law, has felonies, he's operating in illegal activities. You know what I'm saying? He got too many baby mamas that he can't really direct his baby mamas. They're more or less directing him. Men like that are easier for black women to control. That's why they deal with these type of men. That has nothing to do with any sense of being truly select. It's about the fact that they see you as a dude that they can handle.
Yeah.
And because black women are trying to compete with men, they want men that they can handle because they want to be in the male's position and have you in the female's position.
Well,
so if you're a dominant guy,
no, go ahead.
I'm just saying, just in your personal life only.
Keisha got that microphone, Roger.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're dealing with a person and you can tell him as a man get out, and he know he can only go to his mama house, it's okay for him back. He's in control. A man like myself, you can, because more than likely you won't. They fear a man that can dominate his own life.
At the end of the day, you're accountable to your outcomes, and that's the only thing I always come back to. Don't come to me crying about your surviving fuck boyism stories like you didn't sign up for that fucking deal in the fucking first place. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, you talking about accountability now? You can't have that shit, bro.
Well, karma. Well, it's not about karma. Fuck me. I ain't nobody. But you know, me being, it ain't like I'm that nigga. And look at K Michelle. There's a lot of women that operate like that. Look at Toni Braxton. You know, Toni Braxton still has her looks, but I mean, she broke. Look at Nicole Murphy. I mean, these are examples of you see more shit like that than you see shit like Sierra or Gabrielle Union when they finding niggas. No, you usually see it the other side. Shit, Eddie Murphy got 2 chicks basically wishing they wouldn't act a fool with his ass. And anyway, I'll let Sana go ahead. I'll let you, because yeah.
Well, on one hand, I wanted to go back to something you said as far as the talking points. You know, I like to say vaginal, man. They use that. It's because just like the sisters, man, black dudes, man. I mean, and I think this is just an American problem when people look at black men. Hey, calm down, baby. All right. So the problem is black men aren't seen as complicated. You're either black or you're fucking white. Whereas people have all sorts of different traits that kind of mix up. You know, you're not just some straight fucking lame, all right, or just some straight losers on some shit you're alpha with. You know, people are fucking complicated, and everybody wants to reduce black men to just he's this or he's that. Yeah. When that's just not the reality, man. That's people's personalities. You know, have a combination of different traits in them. But in order to have these arguments, because simple-minded people have to make people simple in order to have something easy to argue against, right? Yeah. You know, you got cats that are football players, right? You know, I know cats that get on the field I grew up with. I mean, it's some hard hitters, but when they go home, they a bitch to their woman, right? But you'll see these dudes out, you know what I mean? And you would think, okay, this dude is a straight up alpha. Yeah, but when he get home, this dude is deferring to his girl, man.
And the bitch be ugly.
I mean, then the bitch be ugly, all kind of shit, man. So, you know, we got to like, at the end of the day, man, when we have these conversations as men, it's about getting to the truth, man. And cats are not trying to get to the truth. They're trying to fucking build their own brand. They're trying to fucking, this is my little sticking points. You know what I mean? That's why when you hear them talk, they always got to go back to their sticking points. Let's have an honest fucking conversation.
Yo, let me say something right quick. I want to get your opinion on this before you jump off. I've noticed, now I live in a state, you know I live in Minnesota, right? We have a diversity of women.
I know now.
Yeah, well, we have a very large, I think we have like 30% of the black population here is non-ADOS black people. So
yeah, you got a lot of Somalis,
Nigerians, Liberians, we have a lot of them here. And I like my child's mother is Nigerian. I just got a relationship a couple months back with a Somalian girl. So I noticed the difference between those women, East African, West African, ADOS black women, and I noticed how the African men have their women on a particular code, and they don't do anything special, but just voice their standards, something black men have not done. Now, right now, I'm with the black American woman, and I still listen to this. Like she's in my house, I'm listening to this shit. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to Obsidian. I'm listening to everybody on the TV, loud as she hears everything. And just by her hearing it, she's starting to recognize things and she even says things. I'm like, you got that from Obsidian, you got that from such and such. I think the biggest problem with black men is not that we just don't vocalize a standard. Like on any level of the dating game, we don't vocalize anything.
You're right. And when you
vocalizing it. So as you vocalize
when you do vocalize it, all of a sudden, you know, you being too hard on black women, you making it too complicated. You know, you got old niggas coming at your ass. You got niggas that your age, like you know, niggas. It's always niggas that like 38 and up. Then because most of the younger dudes get it. If you really look at it. Most of these niggas are like 37 and up.
But it's not that complicated. Like it's not that complicated to get our women in check. We just have to get a unified standard and we have to vocalize.
Well, yeah, we got to get a unified standard, a critical mass, and black men got willing to exercise. If I can't get it for you, I'm gonna get it for some bitch. If I can't get it from you, and that is the power of choice. Imagine if you invested in the stock and you put everything on that stock. Obviously, that stock is gonna have your ass more than you gonna have that stock. It's diversification. And I understand that people will say, "Oh, well, you're harming the community." If you really believe that
that's just black emotional blackmail, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, but if you really believe that, then you're really acknowledging that the women are subpar. Because if it's really that the dudes are fucked up, then they should be able to go nowhere else because it should be the best they can do. That's actually in reverse. That's why when I did that video, Find Your Own Store, they very much people got mad because they very much knew. I said, look, I ain't got no problem with you going somewhere else. Like, when parents always talk about, I got a Nigerian man, I'm like, you can deal with that because I know y'all not gonna do that because the problem is y'all want to deal with patriarchy in the first place. Because the shit we asking you ain't shit compared to what the fuck they asking you. The standards you talking about, that ain't nothing compared to what they want.
Let's be
And they
honest.
know that.
Let's be honest. Just off the black women like to say, they want to copy our lips. They want to copy everything. They don't want to copy you. First of all, you cannot go to a different. Other stores have weight restrictions, motherfucker. They make your ass get on a scale before you can even go into the door. So 80% of y'all can't even get into another store. So fuck all that shit. Y'all way too much for the store. That's like an elevator.
What I'm saying, my point to that is simply this: if it's really that we ain't shit and you can do better, then go be great. I don't say anything that black men should do that I like. For instance, a black woman should never deal with a nigga broken in her. And if she does, she's settling because she has to. Now we know that women this is what women like, and I was responding that to Paris because women will say, well, we're forced to deal with broker men. No, you're not. You choose you choose dick currency over security. Because your feminism has taught you can take care of yourself. So the one thing you can't do is basically, I guess, validate yourself or so that's what you prioritize. That's fine, but don't then come in and try to remix it saying that you're forced today or black men are trying to convince you because they can't get money. I tell black women, look, if you can't find a black man that's at your level, go get you a white man. But understand, when you get you a white man, you're going to have to subject to what that white man tells you to do. And they're never, and you can believe it on your own, but they're never going to they will drop you on the dime. And a lot of these women find that out sooner or later. Aisha Tyler, they all find that shit out. Garcelle Beauvoir, they don't give a fuck. Even Serena is going to probably find that out sooner or later because they don't see you as a part of them, regardless of what they
Your
sell.
girl Stacey Dash found that shit out.
Yeah, they all find it out. Now before I let y'all go, I'm sure y'all saw the white bitch, Amber Geiger and her sentence. I don't want to talk about that.
Man, they heated down here, bro.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about those niggas. What that dude did when that dude hugged her, the fucking judge, and the goddamn, I think it was the bailiff, the security guard, it was a cop, patting her hair. That's some shit. I'm gonna keep this all the way real. And I ain't gonna say it because I ain't about to blow this up and then somebody use that to hate speech. But dudes like that, man, they got the wrong person. We got the wrong person because, like, that shit is crazy. Like with them, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, my thing is, why would you even sisters should be talking about that? You got a motherfucker patting her head. This is why I say most of the police is fucked up in the first place. Because what are y'all thoughts on that?
I'm saying you could look at that dude. You know how you can you see a video where these white boys will be bullying some black dude. All I'm gonna say is they know what dudes to do that shit to. And that brother looked exactly like the type of dude that would do that shit, bro. Like, there's a certain, they always have a certain non-threatening, no facial hair having ass look, bro. Like, if I go to the white boy is not gonna roll up on me like that. All right, they know who to fucking roll up on, man. They know you look.
They do know who to try. They do. And another thing too is they know a lot of the people that keep getting caught up. This is not everybody. But you see this on both sides of the general line. It be motherfuckers that they fuck with white people a little bit too much. My thing is, there's a difference between fucking a white bitch and then you sit here believing you a part of who they are. Because that's not how they see you. And this is not about me being pro blackity black. This is just about having common sense. Even if you work with other groups of dudes because you all have common agendas, there's dudes out there that I could name like really strong internet marketers. At the end of the day, now they may be out fucking with you from a class standpoint, but at the end of the day, they're comfortable because they always know they can fucking fall back on you. And the reality is, when you dealing with motherfuckers and you think you in the Blue Lives Matter or you're whatever group you think you're in, a lot of these dudes, they have, it's not so much about, this is the other side of trying to say, fuck the black community, blah, blah, blah. You have a color, you have a blindness to like obvious shit. It's one thing to have kind of like be aware of stuff. Like I'm fucking with white people, so I'm aware I'm fucking with white people. So at the end of the day, I'm not I'm pro-black, but I know how these motherfuckers can move. I know about that koi bullshit and stuff like that. These motherfuckers will actually let their guard completely the fuck down to the point where when something happens, they're like, how could this happen? Now, I'm not talking about that dude when she went in their house. That's not what I'm talking about. I actually think more, but there's more to it than that. Especially after that hug and all that other bullshit.
He was fucking her sister.
Okay, then. Yeah. So, like I said, I thought it was. I mean, it you know, that shit, even the way she cried and all of that, yeah, it's these motherfuckers. Okay, let me see where this dude is.
If you want to know the type of white females dude was fucking with, look at that fine white woman that was talking about that was her best friend. Talking about, you know, hey, even when I got married to the white dude, basically, you know, Botham gonna be a part of this family. God damn it! What you think she was saying, bro?
Yeah, dude's got to. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too. Because to the extent that I do have conversations, which is it's not often, but when I have conversations about these white dudes are always trying to be like, man, it's not about race, bro. I say, look, man, I'm gonna tell you something.
They full of shit.
I fuck with you, but that shit, as soon as that shit, that doesn't even come into my mindset. That you automatically full of shit when you say that. And what you don't really understand is that's what these Plutarchs got you believing. These Plutarchs got you believing that code shit in order for them to control your ass. Because y'all the ones that's harder to fucking control. So they have told you it's about the blacks, the gays, it's about the Hispanics, about the Arabs, because the Plutarchs are the one taking money out of their pocket. So because I talk to them from a class standpoint. So all the time y'all are sitting here worrying about the BBC and all of that. Y'all gotta really ask yourselves, who really made that possible? Who really is the one that got fucking hip hop plaster all over the goddamn television all day, every day? You know, that ain't black people. Black people make the music, but black people don't own these damn things. So the problem is you all can't even say, okay, these are the ground. We don't fuck with them like that, but these are the ground rules because we getting fucked over too. Because them Plutarchs are not getting fucked over when it comes to marriage. They got enough money to where they're just moving money around. Y'all are losing y'all everything, but y'all don't see that because y'all worry about the BBC. And at the end of the day, just like how we're in a fucking gynocracy in the black community, y'all, that BBC shit that y'all deal with, to the extent that y'all deal with, that shit was paved the way by rich white men to allow that shit to happen as a way to fucking check y'all ass. And y'all never see it that way. And y'all refuse to see it that way. And that's why y'all keep getting played. Y'all get played just like these sisters get played where y'all think y'all all that. And at the end of the day, y'all heroined out, y'all coked out, y'all fucked over, and well, you still better than the nigga, right? You still better than the niggas, right? Even though y'all brokers broke.
And let me piggyback that. And just like the sisters, when they get to losing, that's when they want to talk that we need to come together shit. They both do that shit. Well, no, we're all in, we're all in slavery. You know, we're all in financial slavery. You know, you hear shit like that. Nah, niggas, don't try to equate that shit because now you're getting your ass whooped in the market. Now we all in slavery. Now they fucking us all over. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on, let me see because my internet.
What about the children argument? Basically, that's the white dude's version of what about these black? What about the community?
And that's why when sisters do it, the thing about it is this is the funny thing about those situations. When motherfuckers think they coming out with some new shit that has been it's like somebody that they heard a song that's been remixed like 7 times. Like it's been, auto tune, not auto tune, you know what I'm saying? It's been auto, they've used the beat like 7 times. And you gotta go like 40 years to get the original song. And this motherfucker, this is a hot song right here. This is original. You stupid motherfucker. And this is how a lot of sisters come with these arguments. they come with these arguments like this is the first time they've ever like this argument's ever been presented. And I present a video that's like 3 years ago, same bitches saying the same shit. You know, it's like y'all go through these cycles, and it's like, what are you really talking about?
They say,
and
like you say. I mean, it's like I said before, and these, you know, and another thing, it's all of it is the new all niggas are in jail argument. It's just a new, you know, they hip to the straight up. They're just trying to be more creative to say the same shit they done always said.
Yeah, it is. This is why, you know, everybody, even in the greater culture, everybody trying to talk about, well, I want to get married, but everybody's broke. I'm like, okay, y'all can keep telling y'all whatever the fuck y'all want to tell yourselves, you know, because that didn't stop y'all from fucking. Y'all was fucking niggas like being like, this is this. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna cut this off. Like I said, check out the mixer thing. Shout out to everybody that came up. You silent. Like I said, I'm gonna keep this shit action packed. And I'm gonna deal with the city in a little bit, see what he's talking about.
Hey, Edward, nigga, unblock me in your chat. Damn it.
Yeah, who blocked you?
I don't know. I can't write shit in your chats, bro.
All right. Put a comment in the comment section because it's you. It's another dude because Keith Lamont too.
No, damn. I am Keith Lamont.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you know I ain't forgot. See, yeah, okay. Y'all gonna stop blocking motherfuckers. All right, man. I got you.
All right, no doubt. Hey, appreciate you having me on, bro. I just had to throw in my little 2 cents, man. Y'all.
Absolutely. I used to be in that same, like, cause man, everybody don't got. I remember you said, man, nigga, I ain't gonna be a content. I got real shit to do. It's the same thing. Everybody don't be a content creator. That's one of the beautiful things about this that you can kind of get. You know, people can piggyback off some other shit. Cause I used to be the same thing, be on other people's shit. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna build my own shit. And now I'm about to get for real.
Bro, I ain't got time. I just, you know, I want to talk. Like, you know what I mean? I caught you, you know what I mean, on the way home from work. I'm talking shit. I get home from work. I was walking my dog, so I hop on to, you know, that's honestly, bro, that's just another shit to say, man, you can't fuck with me. That I ain't got something to say just because I don't make content, nigga. That just means you can't fuck with me, man. I got into it with BGS for whatever reason, man. I don't know why that dude got some animus with me, man. But at the end of the day, man, you may not agree with me, bro, but ain't shit that I say that you could be like, oh, damn, this motherfucker out to lunch, bro. I operate in a real, I'm a smart fucking dude. You know what I mean? I done told my background on here. So, you know, I got my own shit, you know what I mean? So I can say what the fuck I want. You know what I mean? But I don't need to make content, man. I like to come in here, piggyback on some shit, throw my little opinion around and pop back off, man. But I'm proud of you dudes. Yo, my nigga Marcus A. Brown, hey, getting it too, bro. The Steve the Dean killer right there, bro.
Yeah, Marcus used to be bigger back in the day because Marcus used to be that dude. Marcus used to be on the same level as Jap, pretty much. But, you know, Marcus had better things to do, and I don't blame him. So anyway, yeah, man, I'll definitely look to see how I need to unblock you. So with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.
Peace.
Mm-hmm. I will say this to end it off. Yeah, you right, man. That's exactly what a mammy is. That's why when these fucking swirlers are always talking about what a mammy is, calling black women mammies to stand up for brothers, I'm like, y'all don't fucking have no idea what that shit is. So anyway, yeah. Peace out. Shit won't even let me end it. This nigga fire shit.